Hello and welcome back. Day 4. I would love to know how your protein has gone. I know sometimes when these things are coming fast and furious that you don't really get time to implement them. But if there's something that I said yesterday about protein or even about fear that landed for you, please reach out and let me know. I'd love to know like what's helping people, what's not helping people. So I'd love to hear from you. So now that we're starting to get your nutrition on track with a little bit of information on beverages and introducing to some of the work that we do with proteins, today I want to talk about movement. So this is one of the most complicated questions I think I get where there's a lot of confusion. But so many people say, Jen, like, where do I start when it comes to moving? And you know what? So many of us are in so many different positions. Some of us work from jobs where we sit all day long. Some of us have jobs where we stand quite a bit. Some of us may have injuries. Some of us may have medical conditions. I mean, things like fibromyalgia, ALS. There are so many things, MS, going on with our bodies that there is actually no one size fits all when it comes to movement. So you may have just heard me say, like, exercise and movement. Well, what's the difference? I love to coach our clients on how are we going to move your body. So, yes, it is a form of exercise, but sometimes I feel like exercise has kind of got a negative connotation to it. And the reality is, no matter where you are on your weight loss journey, the key is how do we get you to move your body in a way that A, you like, B, that's safe, and C, that's effective. And the challenge is we are all in different places. So there is no perfect way for anybody to move. It's how do we get you moving? And that sounds kind of crazy, but I mean, I've worked with everybody from elite athletes that are obviously in a different position than someone that may have just had a hip replacement, that's struggling with their weight and is barely moving. The exercises that we do for these people are totally different. And what's appropriate for one is completely inappropriate for another. So I really want you to be willing to be able to say, like, this is where I am. I want to move better. I want to be stronger. I want to feel better. But I need to be honest about where I'm at right now. And I'm going to put a challenge out there to you and say, if there's things in this video that resonate with you when we get going, please send me a message and I will personally record a 5-minute movement pattern for you, depending on your situation. So you need to tell me who you are, what's going on, if there's anything going on medically, and what you are currently doing right now. And if you're saying, hey, COVID has kicked my rear end and I've done no exercise whatsoever, and these are the medical conditions, or these are the things that I'm struggling with, or I have back pain, or I have this, I will record you personally a message and get it to you within a couple days. And I've done it for all sorts of people. So literally, I've had people that I have given a chair workout to because they are not able to stand for long periods of time. There are people that I've given a high intensity workout to. So if that's something that you want and you are willing to be honest with me, I will send something back to you. So just reply to this email and I will personally record something for you that's safe and appropriate for wherever you are. So back to that question of where do I start? In our program, we actually do something called the 5-minute action. And you're going to be like, okay, seriously, move for 5 minutes? Like, how is that going to help me? But the reality is, if you are not moving at all, 5 minutes is like a 5,000% increase, right? Or 500 or 100%, depending on how you want to look at it. The key is, how do we get you moving? How do we get you moving safely, effectively, and then consistently? So who out there can't commit to 5 minutes of movement pretty much every day? I have so many people that say, but I need to go to the gym and it needs to be an hour, 5 days a week. Well, who decided that? And like I said, that may not actually be appropriate for everybody. If you're somebody struggling with recovery or an injury or a medical condition, going to the gym for an hour may be completely unsafe. So I want you to let go of what you think it's supposed to look like and start stepping into what it could look like and what is best for you. Now, I've had many clients that are like, okay, I'm going to walk because that's just where I am and that's what I feel comfortable starting. So I'm going to walk a block, 1 block around. I've had a client that walked around the inside of her condo. And then they were like, oh my gosh, I did 8 minutes. Is that okay? Yes. Your goal is 5 minutes. If you do more, fantastic. If it's safe, it's effective, if it feels good, great. Sometimes all it takes for our brains to start moving is to commit to 5 minutes. And if you are feeling miserable, if it is a challenge, if it is really pushing you, then you know at the end of that 5 minutes, you are complete and you can check the box. Yeah, I did that today. And then we do it again the next day. So, like I said, to start off, your goal is 5 minutes. I'd say aim to 5 or 6 times a week because we can realistically find 5 minutes in the day. And if you want a video specifically catered to you, please send it. If you're someone that sits all day, tell me that. I will give you something to do in your chair that you could do from work during your coffee break, your lunch break, if you're working at home. So challenge me. Tell me what's going on, and I will give something for you to do specifically. And you can use that video for as long as you need to until that consistency starts to come. So that is our introduction to movement. And you may say, hey, that doesn't sound like a lot. But sometimes all it takes is getting started. And once we get that foundation going, once things start moving, then things can adapt based on what you need specifically. But we all start 5-minute action, and that's your 5-minute commitment. And that is what your commitment is. It's a yes or no. I did 5 minutes or I didn't. And if you do more, fantastic. That's a bonus. So the other thing I want to come to today, because we talked about promises, we talked about integrity. What happens when I don't do what I say I'm going to do? Guess what? The world is not ending. It does not mean, oh my goodness, it's Tuesday afternoon. Okay, I'm going to start again next Monday. No, 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 no. What I want you to step into is a concept called the courage to confess. So remember, we talked about being honest with ourselves. So doing what you say you're going to do, when you say you're going to do it. If something happens that doesn't allow that, or you make a mistake, I don't want you to think of, oh my gosh, here we go. I'm going backwards. I can't do this. No, you don't get to go there. It drives me crazy when I have clients say, okay, I fell backwards. No, you can't take away what you've done. You've learned something. So let's use this as a learning opportunity. Let's not look at it as failure. So if you're kind of thinking, okay, well, if I'm working towards something and I'm on this path, I made a mistake, I've gone backwards. No, no, no. I want you to think of, I'm going to take a step to the side and I'm going to take a look at it from a different point of view. Okay, so I've included today a sheet called the courage to confess. This could be the number one thing that helps you get out of a nasty cycle of self-sabotage and toxic relationship with diet and exercise. So you've made your power promise, right? You've made a mistake. Either you totally forgot to do your 5-minute action, you didn't follow through with your water, whatever your commitment was. If you break that promise to yourself in any way or another, have the courage to confess and own the breakdown. Do not give it more energy that it deserves. Own the breakdown. That's all it is. It's a breakdown. It doesn't mean you're bad. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means you did not do what you said you were going to do. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to own it. And if you don't, this is what sets you back into the negative sabotage cycle. So I want you to find a friend. I want you to find a mentor. If you cannot find somebody, reach out to me. And if that terrifies you, I want you to go look in a mirror. And I know you're going to look at me and say, that is insane. But the reality is, we have to talk to someone. And if you're not ready to open up to anybody, please have the courage to face yourself. It's powerful, powerful, powerful. It feels absolutely ridiculous in the moment, yes. But witnessing yourself is huge. So you're going to talk about what happened. You're going to talk about what power promise was broken. And maybe you're going to find that there's a pattern. Maybe it's, oh, every time this happens, this is where I can't follow through. So what that gives us is it gives us the opportunity to take a look at the situation from a different angle. So you're going to reassess the promise. You're going to ask yourself, why did I break it? Did you forget? Is it just something that's not a part of your routine and you just genuinely forgot? If so, you get to make a plan around that. Was the commitment actually unattainable? Did you get really excited and decide that you were going to the gym for an hour, 6 days a week, and then you ended up working a double shift and you just couldn't? Did you set something too high? Great. If that's the case, then we get to readjust that goal until you can start hitting it every single time. Did life happen? Did your child end up in the emergency room? Did you end up in the emergency room? Did you get a call that maybe there was a death in the family? Okay, life is going to happen. So, was it a one time thing? Is it something you can jump right back on tomorrow? Get real. Were you feeling lonely, hopeless, or incapable? Or you just felt like, how do I do this? This is so much work. How on earth am I going to commit to this every day? Be seriously willing to get real as to what actually happened. And then you're going to rise up and recommit. So once you get to the bottom of this is what happened, this is why I didn't follow through, maybe you alter your power promise, maybe you just recommit to it. But the goal is okay, we've looked at it from this other angle. Now we're going to jump right back on the path. We're not waiting till Monday. We're not waiting till tomorrow. We're jumping right back on and we're committing to something that we know we can follow through on. And we're going to make sure that the next opportunity we follow through. And if you need to, write it on your mirror, put it on your fridge, put it somewhere where you cannot escape seeing it. Because the more you start to follow through and you get to believe in yourself, amazing things are going to happen. Awesome. So, movement, commit to something for yourself today. And if for some reason you break that word to yourself, it is not the end of the world. It is a learning opportunity, but you're going to confess. You're going to get real. You're going to get honest. You're going to own it. You're going to acknowledge it as a breakdown, or we're going to get right back on that path to weight loss. Awesome. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will catch you again tomorrow.